Hey you, how's your back look right now? Is it slunched over? Because if it is, mine too. Mine too. Me too. I got pretty bad over here. What if I told you that you could improve your posture with a video game? What? There are a number of games out there that actually affect your body in really strange ways. There are some games that make you sit up, some games that make you slouch down, and some games that make you do this, maybe. All kinds of stuff like this, maybe. Maybe some games make you do this. Maybe some games make you do this. Make you do a full starfish. Today I want to talk a little bit about how video games can affect the way that we sit while we play them. This is a topic I haven't really seen a lot of coverage on. It has some really interesting implications because you can usually tell how someone's responding to a game by the way that they're sitting while they're playing it. If you're a game developer like me, you tend to pay close attention to how people are sitting and responding physically to the game as they're playing it, because it can often give you an indicator as to how much fun they're having or how stressed they feel or how much tension you're creating. Today I want to talk about, in my opinion, what are the three main ways that video games affect our physical bodies as we play them. Understanding some of these can help us improve our posture while we're gaming and change our physical habits, because I mean some of us need it. Some of us really need it. Some of us really desperately need help with it. So when I was a kid, my dad used to make me sit on an exercise ball while I was gaming, and at the time it really pissed me off because I didn't understand what the benefit of that was. He said it was for my back or to keep my back straight because I tended to spend a lot of time on the computer, but those are things you don't really care about when you're 12 or 13 years old. Now that I'm an adult, my back actually starts to hurt sometimes when I spend too much time at the computer. So now as an adult, I'm starting to understand the value of sitting on an exercise ball while I'm on the computer, and I was reflecting on that, and it got me thinking about all the different types of postures I actually have while I'm working or while I'm playing games. And the first thing I noticed was that sometimes when I'm playing games, I tend to slouch like this, really deep in my computer, like super deep. I'm like this, I'm deep. I'm up, on the computer. I'm gaming. I'm playing Silksong, playing Civ 6. And I'm sitting there. And I think the games that I've noticed where I tend to do that are games where I feel less tension, less engaged by the difficulty of the game, or when the tension comes from something like a strategic decision more so than mechanical inputs. This is the first way in which games can affect your body, which is a state of cerebral flow. Strategy games or deck building roguelikes tend to do this for me. If I'm playing Balatro, I'm sitting there really deep. I think the reason for that is there's no time pressure to make my decisions or to move quickly or make a certain mechanical input that can improve my performance in the game. It's all strategy. It's all cerebral. And so your body doesn't feel a sense of urgent pressure or adrenaline as much as it would when you're playing something like a fighting game. This kind of strategy game posture is actually really detrimental for your back. I think it's pretty natural for the human body to relax as much as possible when it's not posed with a kind of kinetic challenge, something where you need to input in a certain way or stress in any way but a time pressure. The types of games you might notice yourself doing this with are games like roguelikes, 4X games, turn-based strategy games. And if you like turn-based strategy games, I'm actually making one. It's called Terra Factoria. It's a roguelike deck builder with city expansion elements. So think of a mix between Balatro, Slay the Spire, and Civilization. In the game, you play worker cards and resource cards onto the tiles in your empire in order to produce more powerful and more valuable resource cards. You can also add new cards to your deck like spells and creature cards, and improve your city over time by purchasing upgrades and expanding into new territory. I've been working on the game solo for about 6 months now, and if you want to check it out, there's a Steam page up and you can go wishlist it if you're interested in hearing more. There's a link in the description for that. I've also got a Discord community if you want to stay updated on the game, so check that out too. Also in the description. So we've talked a little bit about games that might make you slouch down in your chair and really kind of scrunch up like a little unsavory goblin trying to sneak and creep. But what about games that do the opposite? I recently have been playing 2XKO with my friends, and one of the things I noticed myself doing in real-time, fast-paced, input-based games is sitting up. I sit up, sitting on the couch for my first life, and then things get intense, and I'm like, oh my god. You'd be sitting here just gaming normally, and then you're like, oh my god. Oh, I'm sitting up. I'm in. You go forward. You go forward. Start to go from here. You're whatever. Oh. Forward. And it's kind of interesting the way that works because it only ever happens when there's some kind of intensity in the game that you really have to lock in for. And this weird thing happens where I find I actually play better when I sit up and I take it more seriously. So I think there's a physiological component to your posture and how well you're able to input things in the game. If you look at a lot of esports players in games like League of Legends and Dota 2, they often are they're up. You know what I mean? They're not back in their chairs. They're up. I think this also happens in single player games. If you've ever played a From Software game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, then you've probably felt this before. You get the boss to the like third phase, you like start to sit up and you're like, this is getting serious. This can often help with your performance in a game because it'll help you like take it seriously and focus on every move and every input, but it also kind of like increases your stress level. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have Rock Band for the Wii, and I was like super good at Rock Band on my first try on every single song, but then on my second try, I would do way worse. And I think it's because there's like a mental block to doing something really well when you start to take it seriously and start to really care about it. I think this is true of a lot of things in life, but games are certainly one of them. On your first try in a boss fight, you might just be like so much more engaged and like less worried about the outcome because you're kind of pretty sure you're gonna die. But generally on your second round, like for me at least, I find that I do much worse. So I think while sitting up in a game can make you more engaged and more aware of what's going on, it can also introduce a level of stress and mental block that can actually hurt your performance in that game. That's my experience anyway. Okay, so this third one might be a little weird, but stick with me. Back when I was a kid, every single game that was being released was somehow focused on physical activity. I think there was a period of time in the history of games where it was hard to market games to parents because they started to catch on to the idea of like, oh, my kid's gonna spend all their time on the couch and I can't get them off the couch, and they love Mario. They can't stop playing Mario. They can't stop playing Halo 2, and all they do is rot their brain and they hang out on the couch all day and they don't do anything. The games industry's answer to this marketing problem was active games. You had like Xbox Kinect, you're sitting up there moving around physically in front of a sensor, or the Wii is the classic example that kind of did this the most successfully. But you also had things like the PlayStation Move, which was kind of a flop of a console that Sony released. All these consoles tended to have like really weird games on them and tended to feature games that allow you to like self-insert into the game. The classic example is Wii Sports, where you'd make a Mii that looks like you and you'd insert it into the game and move around as that character in the physical space. You'd like shoot golf balls, or you'd hit the tennis ball back and forth, or you'd like lose to Matt in Wii Sports Boxing for the 1000th time because he was like impossible to beat. I still don't think I've ever been able to beat Matt in Wii Sports Boxing. That guy is like the hardest video game boss of all time. Step aside Dark Souls. Matt was the Dark Souls of boxing, the Dark Souls of physical movement games. There was a lot of really bad games released during this period. Like, as much as I love Skyward Sword, it's like kind of tough to get into. And there was a huge focus on building games for specific hardware. You don't see that kind of hardware experimentation much anymore, but I think overall it's becoming more of a niche market as broadly the gaming market is moving towards more PC-focused hardcore gaming. Consoles are sort of in a state of flux, like hardware experimentation is decreasing on the whole. Also in this bucket of games that make you stand and move in certain ways, you can also put VR games. Although the adoption of VR among mainstream gamers has been pretty slow over the years, it's growing in more casual markets and finding a foothold among people who are interested in unique physical gaming experiences. I always found these like hardware type games where you move around like super interesting and fun. And although they used to target kind of casual gamers with things like the Wii and the PlayStation Move and the Kinect, they've sort of moved into their own niche of gamers who are interested in physical emulation. I think this kind of gets at a broader conversation about games and like what the purpose of them is. Are they supposed to be self-inserts so you can like live out a fantasy in the most realistic way possible? Or are they supposed to be kind of fun, extra personal experiences that you can consume from a distance? I think there's an argument for both, but let me know what you think in the comments about this topic. As far as these games go, they're kind of extreme compared to the other examples of like sitting up when you play a fighting game or like chilling when you play like a strategy game. And I think part of what sells them is the novelty of the hardware itself. As we move into an era where we're less impressed by hardware than we ever have been, I think these games are often marketed at people who want to improve their physical health as well. I often hear stories of people using the game Beat Saber to like work out because it's like cardio to like slash the blocks in VR with the remotes. And in the Wii era, you had like Wii Fit, and you had like a physical balance board that would tell you you're obese and then give you games to work out with. And although that era has kind of ended and there's very few games that exist now for like physical activity, I think we should all be aware of the ways that our bodies physically respond to the games that we play. Being aware of your body as you play can not only help you be better at games, but make games like a more emotionally stable experience overall, which I think is better for your long-term health and for the health of your back and your freaking body that you actually use every day. If you're watching this, take care of yourself. Remember to stand up. Remember to sit, not for the whole day, maybe for some of the day. Also, don't forget to wishlist my game. Check it out on Steam. There's a link in the description below. It's called Terra Factoria, and I think you're going to love it. If you like games like strategy games, and you like roguelike games, and you like card games, and you like Magic the Gathering, and or Civilization, and that kind of thing, it's might be the game for you, so check it out. Link in the description. Because if you check it out, then, you know, if you check it out, like that would make me feel good. Because that would make me feel good if you checked it out and you went on the page and you clicked on it and you clicked on the page and then you went to the page and then you went down to the big green button that says add to wish list and you clicked on that button, then I would feel quite good and it would, if you clicked on it, I would start shaking. Wherever I am, you just know, like when you click on that button, it sends like a big gyrate up my entire spine. And I go, ooh, I get alerted. I get alerted when you click that button through an implant in my spinal cord. So